You are listening to the Daily Escape Podcast with Sadie K. Frazier. This episode has been brought to you by Traveling Realms Media.
Hello again, and welcome back. I hope you guys are having a great week full of light, love, and living your wildest dreams out loud. And if you're not, well, then you've come to the right place for sure. We're all a mess here, and you're all welcome. No matter what you're going through, no matter what walk of life you're from, you're all welcome here. Also, if you're new here, I'd like to welcome you to the Daily Escape Podcast. My name is Sadie K. Frazier, and I have created this podcast because, honestly, I felt led to do so. I felt a responsibility to share with you my life lessons, my past, my future, and all the in-betweens that make me who I am today. Not because I'm perfect and have all the answers, but because I do not. So here's my motto and the core message behind this new creative journey. I believe in my soul that every great story deserves to be told. The hard truths, the weakest moments, the brokenness manifested into healing. Every single word is worth speaking into existence. You never know who might need those words to survive their own tragic nightmare and slay the demons that they face. So we can be the light, be the truth, be the voice that saves them from themselves. So if you'll allow me to each week, I'd like to be that voice for you, that light, that truth. It's worth working your way through the pain, I promise. I am super excited that you guys are here this week. We have a lot to talk about. So on last week's episode, we started a discussion on how to declutter your mind, home, body, and soul to allow your spirit to be free. If you didn't join us last week, feel free to go back and listen to those episodes. This is going to be part 2 of that same series. Last week we discussed our minds specifically, and this week it's going to be part 2, unpacking your bags and surrendering to change. So my initial intention was to create one single podcast that incorporated all of those senses into one and then just be done with it. Well, apparently, you know as well as I do that when the universe has other plans, you tend to just kind of take note and listen. So I kind of took a sharp right turn straight into the heart of the matter instead. And after thinking about it, I realized that there is a reason why I was meant to slow down and focus on each of these aspects in greater detail instead of just rushing through them. Each one is essential on the journey of self-discovery in order to move forward to the next step. We cannot move forward unless we put in the soul work it will take to change. So last week we began to discuss ways to declutter our minds, like I said. You were asked for a little bit of homework, or soul work as we call it here, to let go of one negative thought pattern this week. So I want you to reflect on that and let me know how that went. What was it that initially came to mind when you focused on what you would choose? How did it go? Did you struggle with that same thought pattern resurfacing? Or did you allow it back in? Or were you able to let it go? If you met your goal and you were able to conquer that first step, kudos to you, and I'm proud of you for doing that. So now if you did, I want you to choose another topic this week, another negative thought pattern, and just repeat the same process of letting it go. Now, for those of you that struggled with it resurfacing, for those of you that we're unable to keep those thoughts at bay, it's also okay. You know what? It happens to all of us, me included. No matter the struggles you faced, I'm proud of you too. You showed up, you didn't let it destroy you, and you're still here. So as I've said before, it is never easy, this process of changing. It truly is hard work. So if you struggled with this week's lesson and you didn't master it, let's try it again. It's never too late to start over. You're never too old to learn how to retrain your mind and start over. I'm living proof of that part. I struggled with it this week as well. So my negative thought pattern for last week was, I discussed in my childhood that I was kind of taught, if you brought attention to yourself, wore makeup, things like that, that you were considered a vain person. So I've had this negative self-image of my body for a very long time, as most women struggle with at some point in their life. And it's not until recently that I've really been trying to uncover those layers and get to the root of why I feel this way. So I had decided I was going to let go of some of those thoughts this week and just be my authentically true self, no matter what I look like, no matter what age I am, no matter what I'm struggling with, any body issues I'm struggling with, my weight, anything like that. I just decided to just be me. And I felt like I was really on top of that. My husband is my biggest cheerleader and encourager where that goes, and he always makes me feel everything that I need to feel as a woman. Never has any reason to make me doubt that I'm beautiful inside and out, all that kind of stuff. Well, it's different when someone else tells you that and you believe it from the words that they say, but it also matters how you believe it within your own spirit. So as I said, I thought I was having a pretty good week. I thought I was going to get on this podcast and I was going to tell you I was able to conquer that this week. It's always going to be a struggle, but at least I was able to basically start working on that and put those demons aside here for a little bit. However, I am in the process of starting to take a couple new courses, and one of them is on creating course material, and it was kind of a boot camp for course material. So I was so excited to start this new journey. I hopped on Facebook to go to this group, and I see everybody start to introduce themselves. Great. Throw up a picture of yourself and introduce yourself. All right, I'll do that. Until I started looking through the pictures. And at some point, I did not stop to think about my own lessons to you guys this week. My soul work, as we put it. Did not even try to stop myself from spiraling downward. And before I knew it, I'm sitting at the table trying to tell my husband that when I scroll through these pictures, I see all these entrepreneurs, these powerful, beautiful women, and just let that really destroy my spirit for, way longer than I should have. And I told him, I said, I don't even feel like I want to upload my picture because who's going to want to look at me? Like they're talking about going Facebook Live, they're talking about doing all these other things. Who's going to want me to turn on that camera and do these same things? I can't compare to what these women look like. The professional, they're just powerhouses of women. And I ended up in tears and just kind of spiraling out of control and destroying my own self-esteem. Why did I find it so easy to do that? I think at this point I've realized it's because those negative thought patterns, the low self-esteem, the things that some days we can conquer the world and we feel beautiful and we feel all these things, and then other days they're just these little thoughts and whisperings are just right under the surface, and it truly means as much as I thought I had accomplished within that week, that there's still so much work to do. So I'm just being honest with you. I'm trying to just let you know that I'm right there along with you, whatever it is. And it's such a silly little negative thought pattern that shouldn't, I'm 52 years old and I shouldn't have to be worried about comparing myself to other women or any of that stuff right now. So I just want to let you know I'm starting over this week as well. It's never easy to do this, and I just want you to know that I am authentically me in every way, shape, and form, faults and all. I'm right here beside you, and we'll get through this together. I'm here to teach you what I know from my life experience, but I'm also here to teach you that it's okay to be human and it's okay to start over. So, perhaps there is an underlying issue that we need to get to the source of before we can move forward. If you have been unable to break those chains of your past, especially this week and starting with those negative thought patterns, I want you to focus this week again on that root cause. Perhaps you need to unearth the who, the when, or the where that's behind those lies you still believe. Perhaps you're trapped in a generation of addiction that you've been unable to break. Maybe it's a memory that tortures your mind, your body, your spirit, and you've been unable to let it go. Is that past trauma you've never allowed yourself to recover from what's keeping you from living out loud and causing you so much pain that you're hopeless and on the brink of wanting to give up? I see you struggling and I feel your pain. I truly do. And I want you to know that you're held in a very space you're in right now without having to change a single thing. But there comes a point when these memories, these fears, these deep-seated traumas become obstacles to our freedom. In other words, they keep us anchored to our past. We must learn to surrender everything we thought we knew, that we believed in, that we suffered from, to change. So I'd like you to follow me for a moment in offering up a meditation of surrender to the universe. Let's start there. I'm borrowing this from Michael W. Taft from a site called Reconstructing Yourself. His words were, let go of your soul. Let go until there's nothing left. Last of all, let go of letting go. Surrender all effort. Surrender all sweating, striving. Surrender all sense of doing anything at all. There's nothing that you need to do. Let go of all fears. Let go of all concerns. Let go of all your responsibilities. Let go of all your needs. Let go of everything that's so important. Let go of anything you're obsessing about. Let go of your own story. Let go of your ideas about who you are. Let go of trying to get anything out of the meditation. Especially let go of the sense that there's anything wrong with you or that meditation is going to fix you in some way. Let go of the content of any sensory experience. That is, whatever you're thinking or feeling is fine. Don't try to change it in any way. The content or meaning is irrelevant. Let go of that. Completely and utterly surrender yourself without holding anything back. There is no part of yourself that is outside of this surrender, somehow watching it, controlling it, or seeing how it's going. Surrender your feelings. Surrender keeping your shit together. Surrender your mind. Let go of your soul. Let go until there's nothing left. And last of all, let go of letting go. Now, in this place of total surrender, there's only love and support. There's only peace and clarity. When you're ready, I want you to open your eyes and readjust to your physical surroundings. I hope that your mind is clear and free as you surrender and let go of all that was. So let's just take a quick break for a moment to refuel. Get up, get some coffee, stretch your body and clear your mind, and then let's get down to the hard work, the soul work. week. If you're just joining us, I'm your host, Sadie K. Frazier of the Daily Escape podcast. So, like I said, we are here to put in some grueling work today when we're talking about decluttering our mind to set our spirits free. So, let's back up a little bit here to a couple of things we talked about last week. No matter how long you've been lost in the dark, or you've been making decisions that limit your growth or hinder you from living your best life, you can always choose to change. You can always turn things around. Those detours are not forever. Sometimes they feel like it when we're in the moment, but I promise you, things do change when we put in the work that it takes. So at first, those unexpected and sometimes totally unwanted detours may seem like mountains standing before you. But I assure you that foundation that blocks you from realizing your dreams will begin to crumble like sand when you set your intention to start moving through them and stop trying to avoid or go around them. They aren't going anywhere. And if you live in denial or try to skirt your way around the truth, they'll be waiting for you just around another curve in life. Maybe not today, maybe not even tomorrow, next week, or next year. But I can promise you that there will come a day when you'll be forced to stand face to face with your demons. You will be eye to eye with your past, and you will have no choice but to surrender and face it all then. So why not release the power right now that those thoughts have over you? Why not set your intentions to change right here, right now, and start the process of healing once and for all? Once we've taken away the power and the fear, we can start to see that they are just building blocks that we must work through in order to enact those changes we're meant to make. Look, I understand if maybe all you can do at this point is just hold on to hope. Maybe you don't feel like you can make those first steps. But I'm here to tell you that just by showing up, you've already made that first step. It can and will push you towards your goals if you allow yourself to listen, to remain open to my words, and to receive the messages and do the work. So from a Facebook group that I follow, I've mentioned them before. They're called Sweatpants and Coffee. You'll hear me mention them over and over again, I'm sure. They're one of my very favorites. One of the posts I saw the other day said, hope doesn't have to make sense. It can be tiny, the smallest, most fragile glimmer in the darkening sky. It just has to get you to the next moment. So let these small changes you're implementing now, no matter how small, how fragile, how seemingly insignificant in the moment, be the catalyst that nudges you towards the recreation of your best life. Now, I hope it doesn't even just nudge you. I hope it comes in like a bulldozer and levels the playing field, giving you no choice but to start over at ground zero. Let this be your first step, your day one, from your ground up, because you have nothing to lose in this very moment. Another woman I follow closely, she's really positive, uplifting, and she's just a powerfully encouraging woman. Her name is Jenna Kutcher. I believe she's an influencer. I get her email subscriptions, and I got one on, I believe it was on Monday. It just said, how to have a good day. So I opened it up, and she had some pretty beneficial information, and it kind of started my week in a new way. I'm glad I read it on Monday because it kind of gave me that fresh start to start over on a Monday. None of us really love Mondays, I'm sure, but it gave me kind of a fresh perspective and a little bit of inspiration to start off with. So she said she has a notepad where she sits in the morning and plops down to drink her coffee and starts her day. So on that notebook, she writes today's intention, and then she scans her mind for the words she wants to speak over her day. She takes a big breath in, big breath out, and she just writes whatever feels natural for her day. So that is one of my challenges for you this week to start this practice. So I want you to refocus your intentions on letting go of a negative thought pattern, but I also want you to turn that around. We don't want to just focus on the negative. We also want to focus on the positive. So I want you to start this practice this week as well. It doesn't just have to be anything profound. You could start with the simple, I will focus on just keeping my head above water this week, or I will let one negative thought pattern go this week if it kills me. Haha. Keep it light though. Keep it simple, or blow straight through the simple and make it profound. Whatever feels right to you. Just make sure that it fuels you to do better, to be better, to remain inspired to meet your goals this week. So for my intention this week, I chose this, and I think it aligns pretty well with this week's topic. My intention this week was, I aspire to be fearless and resolute, where all obstacles will melt away before me. And what I did was I just opened up my sticky notes on my computer and I posted it and pinned it right to my desktop so I can look at that throughout the day as needed and keep myself grounded and reminded that I aspire to be fearless and resolute, where all obstacles will melt before me. Now, remember I mentioned a few minutes ago about those mountains dissolving before us like grains of sand, when we are fearless and resolute in our aspiration to let nothing stand in our way of change. This is what I meant. And I hate to keep throwing out quotes or positive affirmations that I see in various social medias, but man, sometimes they just strike a chord and I'm led to share it with you too. So this next one I just couldn't pass up without sharing. It said, one day, with the benefit of retrospect, this will all make sense to you. Why you had to go on that detour, why you were stuck in it for years, why you had to generate self-belief, why it felt like you were getting prepared for something, why you had to heal before it all showed up, why it hurt, why your sadness overwhelmed you. All of it will mean something. All of it makes up the tapestry of your life. Trust that, even when it feels dark and uncertain, you are being led somewhere. Trust that you are being primed for magic, for synchronicities, for it to all one day come together so you can say, oh, that's why. Trust you are being prepared. If you feel lost, that means you're going somewhere new. Not all of life can be perfect. We have to heal towards our biggest dreams. We have to become the person to contain more exciting opportunities. Trust it's all leading you there. Let go of the strict plans, but don't give up on the vision. It's all finding a way to work out for you. And that was actually written by Jamie Varon. So it's no secret to any of us that the path we walk, the journey we're on, it's a long, winding, completely unpredictable one, isn't it? Sometimes the most difficult part is how people we thought would be in our lives forever just simply fade away. Opportunities slip away when we were certain they were meant just for us. Random events and life experiences step in unexpectedly only to disappear, and then come to the surface and reappear down the road again to be revisited at a later time. Nothing in life is certain, is it? Sometimes those losses, those unexpected shifts in fate can cause us to grieve, to lose hope, to lose sight of our purpose when things don't go the way we planned. But that's just it. That's what we planned. We can't always see the grand design when we're in that painful moment, you know? It's hard to find the logic or the purpose behind it when we're feeling all the emotions of the experience. But later down the road, in retrospect, we can see that this was something we needed for that to happen. All of the sadness, all of that preparing us through the pain, all of the best laid plans and detours that led us straight off a proverbial life cliff, those were the building blocks, the preparations to create the most beautiful tapestry that makes us who we are. Eventually, it all comes full circle, and it will bring us to the moment like the quote I read earlier, that, so that's why moment. Also, remember that we all have baggage. Some of us heavier than others for sure, but no one else can tell you the timing, the steps you need to take either. We all handle our trauma, our pain, our individual experiences differently. This brings me to one more piece of the puzzle this week I'd like to share. We all have a bag. We all pack differently. Some of us are traveling light. Some of us are secret hoarders who've never parted with a memory in our lives. I think we are all called to figure out how to carry our bag to the best of our ability, how to unpack it, how to face the mess. I think part of growing up is learning how to sit down on the floor with all of your things and figuring out what to take with you and what to leave behind. Now, that was written by Hannah Brencher of Power of Words. So I believe that we're never too old to learn, like I said before. We're never too old to grow or to teach. Those very traumas or life experiences that you've survived just may be what leads you to discover what your life purpose is, and in order to teach others to heal as well. So for me, this is the case. I've been just recently untangling some of my past life events, and it's becoming crystal clear to me what I'm meant to do with my future as I open my eyes to the possibility of becoming a transformational life coach. In fact, I've started a course on this and will be earning my certificate before long, and it's only up from there. So let me back up a little bit. I talked about the Life Purpose Doreen Virtue Oracle cards a couple of weeks ago, and that my husband and I had recently started using those. So I had a few little interesting experiences happen this week with these Oracle cards. So before we even looked at the Oracle cards, I believe we picked those maybe on Saturday or Sunday last week. I had this overwhelming feeling like I really wanted to take some classes. I've been kind of feeling like I was led towards this transformational life coach aspect of my life now. I feel like because of some of the things that I've been through, I'm a mom of 5 kids, I'm a published author, I have my degree in psychology. There's a lot of background experience and a lot of just personal life experience that I feel like I could share with other people in order to help them as well. Well, I don't want to just have my psychology degree, open up a book, diagnose you with a mental condition, and read from you a transcript of the words you're supposed to say to make you heal. That's not what I want out of my life. I want to be more of a holistic health and wellness all the way around. Treat your mind, body, spirit, and soul. So I already know that I want to do some energy work, some things like that, but I want to take some courses that are more tangible for those kinds of things, not just my psychology degree. So I decided I would start looking into stuff like that too. Knowing that I've already done my associate's degree, my bachelor's degree, my master's degree, I don't know that I really want to, at 50-something, go back to school and do all these other things. But I wanted to leave myself open to the universe to guide me to where I'm supposed to be. So I thought I would just think about it. I kind of looked at some classes. I ended up signing up for one that was like I said, earning my certificate in transformational life coaching. And then eventually I'll be getting my master life coach certification also. So one of the things that came to me also is it doesn't do any good to plant seeds in other people's lives if I'm not also planting those seeds within myself, watering them continuously, which means showing up for myself and showing up for you through this podcast and whatever modalities that I choose in the future to share that with. And then also just to continue to cultivate change within myself, growth, expansion. I want to manifest my desires, and I want to keep it from a place of closing a new chapter, starting a new one, but also bringing you right along with me through the whole process. I want to share my failures with you. There will be failures. There will be 1 step forward, 10 steps back. There always is in life. But I also want to share with you my success. And I would like to share with you my life journey so that maybe I can provide some hope and healing to create your best life as well. So when we chose these life purpose cards, you shuffle the deck and then you pick the top 3 cards. Like I said before, the first card is your immediate past. So what do you think my first card was? It was energy healing. Your natural energy healing abilities are an important part of your life purpose. That really, really, really struck home with me and gave me the fuel I needed to know I am on the right path with this. I've always known I was meant to be a healer in one form or another. That's why I went for my psychology degree, so that I would have that background, but that really hit home for me. So the next one, I was completely shocked. I had already signed up for a class on Udemy and a couple other. I'm doing a boot camp for courses, creating some courses and things like that. But my next life card, which is the present moment, was school. It says the answer that you're seeking involves going to school. Wow. You tell me that's not spot on with the universe. Now the next one threw me for a loop. The third one is what my future looks like if I continue on the course of energy healing and school, the first 2 oracle cards. So my third one was flowers. And at first I was thinking, well, I'm not going to be a florist or a botanist or anything like that. So what could that have meant? Well, after sharing that with my husband, he said, I think you need to look beyond just the word flowers. I think you're talking about like seeds, hope, implementing change, things like that, planting seeds. So what did I just say a few minutes ago? I want to plant those seeds, to water them, and to cultivate them to bring about change for you and I both. So it was just a wonderful week of opening myself up to realizing my true potential that I've known is there all along. I just lost sight of it. So the other thing I want to remind you, I'm going to explain why I'm doing all this and why I was called to do this. But the other reminder I want to share with you my experience this week is that I kind of went off of a cliff for a little bit this week. As soon as all of that came together, I felt my spirit light up like it has not been lit up in years. I felt so compelled to just scream to the world, this is it. This is what I've been waiting for. I want to keep that energy. I want to celebrate every day of this new journey. However, in doing that, I signed up for like every class I could see. And I realized I pulled out a notebook. I'm a note taker. I'm a very meticulous. If I start a new project, I have to have a new notebook, a new pen. It's just how I've always done it. It's just one of my little idiosyncrasies. But before I knew it, I had like 4 notebooks going at one time, and I couldn't keep up with all the notes. So this energy, this beautiful transitional energy that I'm feeling right now, it's amazing. But I want to caution you to just take it slow. Because what I found myself doing, even though all of these courses are going to help me, they're going to help me to share my experiences with others and give me a voice behind my teaching and my coaching. But I cannot lose sight of being led by the universe, being led by God, whoever you believe in. I cannot lose sight of that. And if you remember last week, the message was be still. Be still and listen for that calling, for those little whisperings of the universe that guide you in the right direction. So while I'm spreading my wings and I'm massively just throwing myself into the middle of all this stuff, I had to take a step back and remind myself, thank you, universe, for speaking, teaching, writing through me, whatever the case may be, but I'm going to remain silent. I step out of the way and I let you guide the way. So I just caution you, once you start feeling these feelings come alive again, it's a beautiful experience. Ride that wave till there is no more energy waves to ride. But don't ever forget to just stop, be silent, slow yourself down. The universe will guide you and it will put those pieces of the puzzle together how they're meant to. But you need to just rein yourself in a little bit and let them take control. All right, so let's take another little quick break, and then I'm going to kind of just go over the reasons behind why I'm doing this, and we're going to kind of just wrap up this week's podcast. Like I said, with the rest of the decluttering series that I'm going to do, I'm going to take it step by step, and I'm just going to be led to where I'm meant to go that next week. So if I feel that there's more that we need to talk about in decluttering your mind, fine, we'll do that. If not, we'll move on to other aspects of that. We're going to make it into an entire series with the body, the mind, the soul, even our home, and ways to declutter so that our spirit can be set free. And like I said, this episode, we're talking about unpacking our bags and surrendering to change. So this is a great place to take a break. Go grab a cup of coffee, stretch your wings, and I'll see you back in just a few minutes. And we're back. And I am your host, Sadie K. Frazier of the Daily Escape Podcast. In case you are just joining us, we are talking about decluttering our minds. in order to set our spirits free. And this week's episode was about unpacking our bags and surrendering to change. So as I mentioned, I'm taking a few transformational life coach courses and kind of untethering myself and untangling myself from some of my past in order to do so. So why am I deciding to do this after all of the school I've already been through? I've got a lot on my plate right now, so why would I choose to add on even more to it? Well, the number one reason is because I am feeling called to do so. I just suddenly feel like I have this intense need to untether myself from any limitations that myself or others have placed on me, to set my spirit free to be me for the first time in a very, very long time. So for the first time in a very long time, I'm looking my past dead in the face. My life experiences that have brought me to this incredibly pivotal moment in time, I'm saying to them, I no longer fear where this is going to lead. I no longer see you as an obstacle or a mountain I cannot ascend. I recognize you for what you were, the essential building blocks to help unlock my life purpose, my destiny, my best life. And I'm very grateful to those who have walked in the footsteps beside me. There's been a lot of pain. Despite the pain, the fear, the pure awfulness it sometimes has caused, I'm still grateful for those experiences. For without them, I would have not learned the lessons I've learned. I would not have learned empathy, mercy, and grace. So as I continue to grow and learn ways to help you on your journey and mine, I will dump out the contents of that emotional past, that baggage we talked about earlier, and I will let them spill onto the floor. Imagine you have this giant suitcase of all of your life experiences from the day you were born till this very second in time. I want you to take that baggage. I want you to unzip that leather, time-worn suitcase. Just smell that leather. Unzip that suitcase. Breathe in your past. But then I want you to just dump the contents. Every single one of those contents. Look in every one of those pockets. There's hidden pockets everywhere found within a suitcase, isn't there? Dump every single one of those important, pivotal, incredibly essential pieces of baggage, dump them onto the floor. I will learn to sort through all the junk, all the nonsense, all the lies I no longer wish to hold on to, and I would like you to do the same. I would like you to sit in the middle of your floor, find a safe space you can go to, put on some music, light some candles, and I want you to just close your eyes and envision that. Envision that you are literally holding a tangible piece of luggage. Unzip it. Imagine in your mind that you are dumping everything onto that floor. There's a wide open space around you and you're just getting it all out. I want you to learn to sort through the junk also. The more we release and we surrender, we will begin to see a space surrounding us. No matter how infinitely small at first, that space will finally allow us to just breathe. Within that circle I began to create, I can then start to stretch my heart, my spirit, and my voice just a little bit to give myself a little freedom to begin to move and grow. Sometimes I'll want to pick up those familiar items, no matter how toxic, and put them back in that bag. But I will work each day to provide a safe space that allows me to say no, no more. I will not revisit a past that has held me back from living my wildest dreams and becoming who I'm meant to be. This will become a spiritual quest for me of sorts as I repack my emotional bag with all the things I need to thrive. I will feed my mind with classes, with music, with motivational podcasts and daily messages from inspirational spirit junkies like me, until it's replaced with the old thoughts that held me back and no longer have a place to hide within those little crevices, within those pockets of our past. I see before me a foundation that stands to block me from realizing my dreams. But as I set that intention, I aspire to be fearless and resolute where all obstacles will melt before me. I watch that mountain begin to crumble like sand as I begin to do the soul work necessary to begin moving through them, not around them. Remember I said we can no longer live in denial and skirt the truth. We have to work our way through the pain in order to change. So I'm challenging you right now to join me again next week as we take the next steps in becoming more than we ever thought imaginable. As we learn that nothing is too big to handle when we step out of the way and let the universe guide us. My wish is that I have provided you with hope, that I've uplifted you, that I've made you laugh, made you cry, and made you want to scream out loud, I can do this. Yes, I can. So chin up, my friend. You've taken another step this week, and it's all uphill from here. So straighten that crown, take a deep breath in, and let it all go. Surrender yourself to the power of change. I believe in you. You've got what it takes, and so do I. So together we'll make it through day by day and piece by piece until we're restored, healed, and find joy in the journey once again. So I hope you have a great week. Hang in there and know that you're loved from here to the universe and back. Until next time, I'm unconditionally yours. All my love, Sadie.
Come out and play. It's Saturday, and I promise I'll love you much better now. The sour taste will wash away, 'cause I promise I'm better now. Wouldn't hold it against you if you say that you don't wanna get close to me, close to what we used to be. But I just feel like dancing. Are you feeling it too? Oh baby, won't you love me? Won't you love me? Won't you love me? Love me like yesterday. Don't you feel it? How it feels, babe. Won't you love me the old kind of new way? Love me like yesterday.
This has been another podcast episode of the Daily Escape Podcast with your host, Sadie K. Frazier.